Welcome to the Chaos Plan, where the odds may not always be in your favor. Thank you for joining us for another episode of The Chaos Plan. If you'd like to know more about the show and have an idea of kind of what's going on and where we're at in the world, visit our website where we are currently working on an online campaign guide, which you can find at www.theadventuringguild.com. And if you would like to join the show or become a sponsor and help us make this podcast better, visit our Patreon account. Just search for The Adventuring Guild or our website to find a link. And by subscribing and helping us out, you can not only join our Discord to hear our episodes live, you can also become a member of the show, get some awesome merch, and represent the guild. So thank you very much, and on with the show. Thank you once again for joining us for another episode of The Chaos Plan. We have another large group game coming up here. We've got Braden Danderbin, we've got Micah Klien, Seth Arpeggio, and Vergil Thorun. So all of these wonderful people are going to lay down their lives in the game today, or possibly, we'll see. May the nat ones all roll in my favor. So we will go ahead then and get started. But before everybody is officially on the 26th of planting, Arpeggio. You have a couple of days to catch up with, and we talked just a little bit ago about just getting some Fighters Guild stuff done. So you go up to the Fighters Guild on the 24th of planting, and it's a average day. You notice that there's a bit more hustle and bustle than what you're used to. People seem to be a little bit more wary than usual, but not really sure why that is since you're kind of new here in town. But other than that, everything seems to be pretty much as usual. What kind of jobs would you look for upon entering the Fighters Guild?
Arpeggio would probably stick to what she has been doing from the beginning, so if there are other teaching jobs for the new recruits, she would be taking that.
Okay, yeah. You find that there's another group of spearmen that are practicing in the yard, and they're actual sparring instead of just form type drills. They're learning to parry and block and do all that kind of stuff. So you're able to take up the mantle of spear educator, and you head out that way and flip a couple of spears around so they're pointing with the pokey bit. Go ahead and roll me a either athletics or performance or some sort of check that you can justify for teaching sparring with spears.
I would say performance because I am teaching people proper form.
Okay.
That's a 10.
They seem to be pretty much paying attention to what you're saying, but something seems to kind of have their attention a little bit, so it doesn't soak in as well as it probably should. And one of them ends up getting pretty injured by accident, and so the lesson ends early. You're still given 8 silver pieces for the job that you did today. Since it ended early, you didn't get the full gold, but you did get 8 silver pieces for helping out, and you're kind of noticing that distraction was something to be a little bit worried about. And as you kind of finished up for the day and were retiring, you could hear that some of the guild members hadn't reported in recently. But as soon as you kind of turned to head that way to talk to them, another unit leader showed up and kind of redirected the two that were gossiping, and they quieted up and kind of did their own things. So now on to the 25th of planting. Once again, there's more tension in the guild than you're really used to. What would you do in the guild upon waking on the 25th?
For the 25th, I will be taking patrol duties, trying and in the hopes of trying to see what's going on around the city.
Yeah, as you head up to the front desk and ask, what patrol jobs are available, they pull out an entire stack of papers that people have requested patrols to be doubled in their particular neighborhood or whatever else. It's absolutely astonishing. So you have your basic pick of anywhere that you would like to patrol. So what district of the city would you like to patrol? The Docks, the Commons, the Cauldron, the Elven District, the Guild District, the Noble District, or the Governmental District?
I would take the Docks district.
All right, you head down to the Docks District, and it's pretty wary. People are getting a little bit nervous and that kind of stuff. And as you're patrolling, you kind of get relieved looks. People, look at you and feel safer and that kind of stuff. And you hear whispers of people have been disappearing at sea. People have been disappearing within the guilds. And it seems to be completely at random. There was an alchemist that was a goblin alchemist that was taken from within the Cauldron District, and there was a astrologian that was taken very recently as well, and it's getting kind of dangerous out. People are kind of getting freaked out by what's going on, since nobody can really figure out rhyme or reason as to how it's happening.
I would like to just quickly interview a bunch of bystanders, just get a general time frame of when they usually disappear. I mean, is it during the night or is it during the day? Something like that.
Go ahead and roll me a charisma check, whatever kind you can justify, and we'll see how much info you get.
And diplomacy. This is not different. Different. Okay. Persuasion.
Okay.
15.
15. All right. Yeah, you're able to find out that it is literally 100% random. Like, the only constant that seems to happen is that the people that were taken were all very brilliant, bright, high potential people. Other than that, the ages are completely random, the races, the classes, the jobs, the living status, the financial everything, when they were taken, where they were taken from. It is completely random as far as they can tell. It's really got people freaked out. Some of the most recent and most notable, there was a high-ranking cleric of the ocean deities that was taken very recently.
But the common thing between them is that they are very talented people, right?
Correct, yeah. That's basically the only common thing amongst them.
All right. I'll carry on then.
All right, you continue up and down the Docks District. After you finish your 8-hour shift, you are able to go ahead and roll me just a random luck check real quick.
What does that imply?
Luck, I don't think you've had to roll a luck check yet, so go ahead and roll a straight D20. Let me know what the number is first.
3.
Okay, then you're going to have a -2 to any luck rolls that you do for right now. I'm keeping track of when everybody rolls 20 or anything like that, and then it modifies your luck stat from there. So then go ahead and roll me a straight D20 now for your actual luck check and take it -2.
Okay, same roll. 3, so that's a 1.
Oh man. Okay. So then, while you're walking, you're kind of just minding your own business and keeping an eye out, that kind of stuff, trying not to really get in anybody's way. And there's some people that are really looking kind of off at you, looking pretty aggressive. They aren't making any moves yet, but you can definitely tell that they're taking note of the path that you're taking and everything else. And as soon as you kind of turn to confront them, they disappear into a darkened alleyway. You don't think that they're going to do anything tonight, but you're pretty sure that they definitely didn't like seeing you in the docks. Go ahead and roll me a real quick perception check to see if you can recognize these people.
That's a 20, not natural.
Okay, but still, with a 20, you 100% recognize them as Shadows Guild members. They had the insignia on their cloaks as well. But this group didn't seem to be like the normal run-of-the-mill thieves. These guys seem to be a lot more dangerous than a regular Shadows Guild type member. So you definitely are going to kind of be on the lookout for that next time. You're able to finish your shift basically uneventfully, and you head back up to the guild and are paid 1 gold piece. Is there anything you want to do before calling it a night and starting the 26th?
No, aside from just doing my regular equipment cleanup and just getting some meals, that would be her day.
All right, so then you're very easily able to get all sleep, but the last thing before you kind of pass out for the night is the look of hatred in one of those guys' eyes as they watched you patrolling. So that's definitely something that's going to be on your mind. So then we start the 26th of planting. We'll go ahead and start with Arpeggio and keep it going. So what would you do upon waking on the 26th?
As she has been doing every morning, she'll be heading back to... My goodness, I forgot her name.
Oh, the front desk gal?
No, yeah...
Oh, to Isla. That's right.
Isla.
You're not staying... Yeah, you're not staying in the guild. That's right. I'll edit the wording around for that. So yeah, you're going to say hi to Isla this morning?
Yeah, say hi to Isla. Cut some firewood for her, as promised. And after having a meal, she would head back to the Fighters Guild.
All right, yeah, you say hi to Isla, and she's... Hope you're having a wonderful morning this morning. It's supposed to be a very nice day out, but they're talking there might be some rain this evening, so you might want to make sure to be back before it gets too terrible dark tonight.
I will do, Isla. I've been hearing that things are not good recently, so do be careful while I'm not here.
Oh, I will definitely be careful. If it's got you concerned, I know it's serious.
I just don't panic about this for now. Just keep an eye out, okay?
I will do so. Thank you, Arpeggio. All right, so then you head on to the Fighters Guild, and you head on up to the front desk there, and a special kind of bulletin has been posted up front, kind of a general notice to the guild. As you go to look at it, it basically is explaining that people have been disappearing all over the place. Very talented young adventurers are just randomly disappearing out of nowhere. Watch yourselves, buddy system with the guild, all of this other kind of stuff. And as you're reading that very detailed description of some of the people that have been taken and everything else, you see Thorun come strutting out from the blacksmith shop area and approaches you. And so Vergil, go ahead and hop in and say hello to Arpeggio.
Hello again. How are you doing?
Master Smith, it's been a while.
Indeed it has. Indeed it has.
I've been using your wonderful creation for me quite well, so thank you for that again.
Of course. Is it holding up all right? Any maintenance needed on it, or?
It's pretty well balanced. No complaints so far.
Wonderful. I'm glad.
All right, so you guys meet up, and Vergil, that same notice catches your eye, and saying that a number of individuals have been taken, disappeared out of nowhere. And at the very bottom, the freshest inking on the bottom, you recognize the name of Aura.
Yeah.
Would you say anything to Arpeggio or anything? Or are you just going to quietly suffer in silence?
Not gonna say anything, but there's a note. Usually Thorun has this very calm demeanor, this focus kind of a deal, but today he's just off and looks angry more than sad or anything, but pent up anger that he can't get rid of.
Do I need that insight check to see that, or it's pretty obvious?
No, it's obvious. He's always just had this really calm demeanor and always pleasant, but today his heart words are a little bit more blunt and not doing much small talk, and just has this tenseness to him that he normally doesn't have.
Yet another side that I've yet to see from you, Master Dwarf. Something troubling you.
Yesterday was a bad day.
How so?
He just kind of looks at that name, and the last one, I knew that person pretty well. Then It's just not a good day. And with that, he excuses himself, and he heads towards like the training yard to like a training dummy kind of deal, and just starts going to town on it. In fact, he'll probably actually burn a couple of key points on for flurry of blows, just like flat out just go to town on this dummy or whatever the training thing is, and just attacking it, not even pulling his sword, but just punching at it a few times.
Arpeggio will follow Thorun, and upon seeing him like wrecking hell on a dummy, she's going to smack Thorun on the butt with the butt of her standard. Seems you need to vent something out. Mind if I help you with that? And I take a fighting position.
Okay, yeah, Vergil, if you want to do PvP, I am totally fine with non-deadly PvP. We can do that.
Sure, that's fine. And you see, like, he has his sword,
That's the equivalent of a death threat. Just a rain of dice.
He says, that's fine, and he, puts his hand on his sword and kind of he hasn't drawn the sword yet, but kind of gets himself into a fighting position.
As he steps away from that training dummy and draws his sword, you see the training dummy. It's a classic World of Warcraft, bucket on the head, straw, barrel kind of a thing. It just crumbles. It's just kind of the post sitting there with how much frustration he's taken out on us. So then go ahead, guys, and roll initiative.
That's a 9 for Thorun.
Not doing well. That's a natural 1.
Oh, no!
But that, doesn't matter. Natural 1, that would be a 3.
Alright, so then Vergil, you'll go first, followed by Arpeggio, and you guys can just let you do what you need to do.
Alrighty. So Thorun is going to run up behind, using his quick little dwarven monk feet, run up behind Arpeggio and make a weapon attack. So that's a nat 1.
I feel like this is very fitting considering the situation.
Yeah, he's not focused right now, and so he just completely misses.
Exactly. Alright, Vergil, bonus action or anything?
So he completely misses, and he's gonna kind of sweep the sword horizontally and then twist it around and try and go for an elbow strike to the chest, or to the back. That's better. That is a 19.
That hits.
Okay. That is 3 points of bludgeoning damage.
Alright, anything else, Vergil?
That is my turn.
Alright.
Okay, in response, Arpeggio's gonna twirl her standard and spike it on the sand. I suppose we're in the sand pit or something. Yeah. And then she is going to draw her katana and make a slash at Thorun.
Alrighty.
14. Does a 14 hit?
No, my AC is 15.
Ooh. Okay, as a bonus action, I'll be activating my Ambit of Authority, which I'm gonna activate as Fortitude, which is a damage reduction of 1.
I'm going to make another attack, and I'm going to make let's see. No, I don't want to use that one. That's not quite what I was hoping for.
Stab through the chest. No.
I'm gonna make a disarming attack. So that's a 20 to hit.
That hits.
Let's see. So I need a strength saving throw from you.
15.
Okay, that passes. So you are not disarmed, but you take 14 points of slashing damage. As he goes for the handle of the sword to try and catch it and knock it out of your hands, kind of a deal. And then bonus action, he is going to attack again. And that is a 15 to hit.
Oh, that misses.
Okay, and that's my turn.
Ooh, in response, Arpeggio's gonna kick the bottom of her standard and gonna use the momentum to try to like uppercut you with the standard. 18. Does that hit?
That'll hit.
Okay, so that is 13 points of bludgeoning damage.
Alrighty. Ouch. Then I'll attack. That's a 15 to hit, so that's gonna miss.
Mm-hmm.
And then bonus action. That's an @1, so that'll also miss. And that's my turn.
Okay, I'm gonna try to hit you again with the blunt end of my standard. 20.
Oh yeah, that hits.
Okay, 6 points of bludgeoning damage.
Alrighty. Alrighty, so I'm gonna make an attack again. That's an @1. Oh my gosh, really?
The Dark Knight strikes again.
Pretty much.
Wow.
Bonus action. That'll actually hit this time. 22 to hit.
That will definitely hit.
And that is 6 points of bludgeoning damage with kind of a spin and like backhand to the shoulders, the back of the shoulder, kind of as a spin backhand.
Yeah, that knocked the wind out of her. And she's gonna after that throw, she's gonna face Thorun and hold up her hand. Okay, I yield.
He immediately sheathes his sword and kind of puts a hand out to help her up if she's on a knee or something, to kind of help her back up.
Maker, you hit so hard. Ow!
Not too bad yourself, as he kind of like wipes from being hit in the face by a metal object. He said, "Not too bad yourself."
You feel better.
Kind of.
I bow. So, you want to talk about it?
Sure, why not? First round's on me, and head towards the bar, a place to drink and talk about what happened in the last session.
I assume the Fighters Guild has a built-in bar somewhere.
I would hope so.
Yeah, for sure.
Otherwise, I'm in the wrong guild, man.
Yeah, the drunken monks have got to have a place to train their abilities. And as you guys leave the fighting arena, the sand pit, it's dead silent. Nobody has said a word, and then the second you like walk into the guild, like all this murmuring and talking happens behind you, and they're like, "Oh, what just happened?" So it was an absolutely massive event within the guild to see the two of you being as well known as you are go at it like that, because Vergil's never really cut loose other than that monk, and it's like seeing your teacher get into a fight for half of the spearmen. So that was definitely something that's going to be talked about in the guild for a while. Yeah, exactly. So then you guys get over to the small built-in bar tavern thing, and you're able to talk about everything that happened. So Seth, long story short, there was a big group game type thing where Danderbin, Aura, Freud Gearlock, Vergil, and then myself for just a little bit all showed up. Aura, they ended up trying to investigate these disappearances, and they found out that there was going to be another disturbance, a possible portal or something like that, opening up over by the Light's Grasp Lighthouse. They went to investigate, and in a battle they could not win. Aura was kind of figured out that the only way to close this portal was something living had to go through it. And so she jumped through the portal and closed it behind her, and she is now lost to everybody. It's kind of a long story short. So that is how you guys are able to kind of spend the intervening hours as the morning rolls into closer to lunchtime. So, Brayden, we will go ahead and do you next. So, Danderbin, after you get up to take care of Ladybug, feed her another goat or whatever, you get up to take care of her. What would you do with your day? It would still be fairly early morning.
I believe I was staying at the beach where Aura disappeared.
That's right, you did say you were going to stay behind there.
So Ladybug and I are just camping I would like build or try and manufacture signs warning people of this area and to stay away for potential incursions. I know I won't be able to rally a force, but I'll try and find other people that may be interested in just like standing watch should there be anyone in the area, because I know the mages are relatively close by, aren't they?
Yeah, the Mage's Tower is within sight of where you are, so you would be able to very easily walk up that way in between that's found on the shores and what the mages have on hand. You're very easily able to construct some signs that say, caution, warning, portal area. And what would you tell the mages to try and encourage them to keep an eye out?
I'd say, what was coming through the portal again? Was it phase spiders?
Yeah, phase spider. It's a homebrewed creature, but basically a phase spider.
Okay. I'd say, hey, mage people, anyone?
Yeah, you would definitely get some curious looks. Having spent the night out there all night, they probably would have posted one of the mages to kind of keep an eye on you after they saw the rest of your group leave, thinking that, maybe you were senile or something and got lost, or who knows.
Well, I'd just talk to that person then, and I'd say, so, you keeping watch here as well now, I guess?
Kind of, yeah. I'm on break right now. I can't channel anymore for a while, so I'm keeping an eye on you to make sure, the tide doesn't come up and wash you and your spider away.
Alright, well, you better keep keeping an eye on me. That tide, and I wouldn't mind a bit of company,
Oh, okay, yeah, I've got, and he kind of looks up at the sun, and he's like, I've got about an hour or so. I guess I could spend a little bit of time with you. How are you? My name is, you can call me, Mage Klien, is my name.
It's very nice to meet you. Do you mind if we just sit in silence for the next hour or so?
Yeah, I'll just, if you don't mind the occasional page flipping, I'll just study my spellbook here for an hour while you sit.
Thanks. And Danderbin will just sit down and have Ladybug sit next to him and just sort of watch over the area for as long as possible. He'd probably spend probably like another 4 or 5 hours there, and then kind of, if nothing else happens, maybe head back to Port City to try and see where his friends went. After
Spending most of the night in watch and then taking smaller naps in order to kind of get your long rest in, you're kind of tuckered out, but after sitting for a next while, you didn't see anything else open up at all the entire time you were keeping vigil. And the next hour passes. You can tell it's getting closer to noon. By the time you kind of get done watching, the mage got up after an hour and went back to his shift. And you saw another mage kind of standing up on the cliff above you, kind of keeping an eye on you. Him also studying a spellbook. And it's getting close to noon before you head back up.
I'd probably go up to one of those mages, maybe the one before he leaves, and just say, thanks for sitting with me. I must ask, if anything strange opens up here, portals, etc., do you know how to send messages like this? And I hold my finger up to my head and telepathically sort of speak to him a couple of words.
Oh, yeah, he like jerks his head around a couple of times and looks, and he's like, well, yeah, if I know who I'm talking to, I can do that.
Oh, me. If anything here opens up, I would like you to message me.
Yeah, I can do that. If you get outside of range, I'll send my familiar to come find you. I'm assuming you'll be in the city, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, if you see I want it to be flying so that it can get to you fast enough. So if you see a bat flying around and, coming real near you, that's my familiar. Just listen to him.
All right, well, I appreciate it all. Thank you.
Yeah, not a problem. So then you head back towards the city. You make your way back. Let's see. Did you see the South Road between the Noble District and the Commons District? So you come up through that way, and you can see the Noble side is just snooty as always, and the Commons District is, your average ma and pa type folks. You make your way through that way and back kind of into the Guild District area.
I would go to Klien and Thorun to try and get some information on portals, because Danderbin has very little clue. He just likes putting bear traps on people's butts.
I almost spit my drink all over the screen. Yeah, so you head up to the Mages Guild type area, and everybody is parting ways, so you don't have to worry about being lost in the crowd. That giant steeder is definitely keeping people from getting too close. Klien and Thorun, you awake fairly early in the morning, I'm assuming to get biscuits and gravy.
Absolutely.
So, just to sicken all of our international, you have a big old plate of biscuits and gravy, and after enjoying a second helping, you head your way down towards the rest of the Mages Guild. What would you like to do with your early mid-morning?
Early mid-morning, I'd probably honestly, with all of the hectic goings-on that have been happening recently, I'd probably actually spend the first part of my morning just sitting in my room, scratching out a few notes about Yon Observatory, just to kind of think about something other than the crisis going on, to kind of put things into a little bit of a perspective. And so, just tootle along and drop what rudimentary plans I can for, how I want this tower to eventually look when I finally get around to it. And then as the morning comes to a close, around noonish, go get some lunch.
So you do your best to try and push all of that kind of stuff out of your mind, but that tarot reading, the fortune telling about everybody having to change, tough choices having to be made, it's definitely, taking a toll on you, especially with that astrologian being so closely tied to the stars. You get a fair amount sketched out, but you can tell even by yourself, if you're honest, that it's only half paying attention while you're doing it. And so you make your way down to the cafeteria type area about noon, a little bit before, trying to beat the crowd, because there's nothing worse than trying to eat your crazy imaginary lunch or, crazy otherworldly lunch with a bunch of other people asking what it is. So what would you be getting at lunch? Because your food answers are always hilarious.
I think today is going to be, honestly, just, I really feel like with everything going on, some comfort food is going to be great. So it's going to be just simple grilled cheese and tomato soup.
All right, yeah, so a steaming bowl of tomato soup and a super, not stringy, but super melty American-type cheese in that sandwich. You pull it apart, and it just, that yellow goodness just kind of spreads from there. Yeah, exactly. And because it's a realistic illusion and all that kind of stuff, a second sandwich comes out, because you can never just eat tomato soup with one sandwich. So you finish your meal, and you hear a bunch of people that are coming up for lunch, and they're like, "Did you see that Strider out there? Like, I didn't realize any of them ever came out of the Underdark, and that gnome on top of it? What's he doing? That's a snack for that thing."
As soon as I hear him calling out for me, "Dandy, I'm coming!" And I will run people over to get out the door.
Stone!
An over 6 foot tall giant of an individual plowing through a crowd in anime style. You hear the bowling pins getting knocked aside as people do flips in the air, out of the way. And Klien and Thorun arrives before you.
Dandy, what brings you here?
Terrible things have happened. Terrible.
I am very aware of terrible things that have been happening. That's what I've spent my last couple of days investigating.
Wait, you know already?
Well, I know that a large number of people have just mysteriously up and vanished.
Aura's gone. She's gone.
Well, hellfire! Let's go find her.
No, she's gone.
Oh, you mean the gone?
Yes.
Oh, well.
There was this portal, and it wouldn't close, and then these things were coming out trying to kill us, and then I tried to stop her, and she jumped, and then it closed, and she's gone.
Well, can we go after her?
Well, that's what you know things about portals, and you're magical, right? You've got things going on with yourself.
I'm not gonna lie. My experience with portals is limited to the orange ones and the blue ones, and don't fire a portal at the moon.
Damn it! I'm not quite sure what you're talking about, but maybe it's relevant.
These kind of portals aren't relevant. They're more scientific in nature and less magical. I haven't been here really long enough to really get a good knowledge of how portals work, and the way that the portal network just manages to do everything is so far beyond what I've been able to look into. It's always right there as something that interests me, but now, well,
you're the smartest person I know. Surely you could do some research.
Dandy, we're gonna figure this out.
Yeah, are you sure?
I swear on Orion's belt.
Again, I'm not quite sure what that is, but I take your word for it, my friend. Please, anything. I can stand by and bring you hot tea while you do your research. I can cook for you. What's those things you enjoy?
Yes.
Pig guts and gravy or something like that.
You know what? Just being around will be more than enough help. I think we need to. I think this is the beginning of a new bit of research for me, and
I trust in you, my friend. Truly,
we're gonna figure this out, even if I have to research until the end of the universe. I will figure this out.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty old, so I mean, if you can get it done within a few weeks, perhaps that'd be pretty nice too. I mean, sure, yes. You'll find a way to turn me into a lich so I can save.
That is the scariest thing I have ever.
Oh my gosh.
Legendary action to open a bear trap.
A lich running around with bear traps?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Bob, I'm going to take Danderbin. We're going to go to my room.
You have to leave the door open the whole time.
Oh, I'm going to kick the door off its hinges. I don't have the strength to do it, but I'm going to do it.
Yeah, but you're like 6 foot something. There's a lot of mass behind that kick.
And as that door flies open, all of the plans that I've been working on for my for that observatory, I'm just going to tear them off the walls.
Oh, damn.
I've got enough life to live that this can wait.
Wow.
Just basically, I'm going to I don't carry a lot of weight in the guild, but after tearing down all of my plans for the observatory, I'm going to grab a fresh roll of parchment, and I'm going to go storming off to the portal network and find whoever is in charge and figuring out how our portals work and if there's any correlation between the two that we might be able to make.
All right, Danderbin, would you have told him that Thorun was with you?
Oh yeah.
All right.
Then what I probably would have done is as we were walking, I would have said, Dandy, go get Thorun. We're going to need some muscle. I'm going to go talk to our portal network crew. Meet me back here as soon as you can.
All right. Ladybug, away! And we climb up the roof.
Hi ho, ladybug! Away! Oh Lord! Yeah, you go skittering. You don't even worry about the crowds. Ladybug just runs up to where a building is, just right up the side of the building, 90 degrees, right across the roof.
I handcuff myself to a restraint so I don't fall off when she's going vertical.
You guys see later in the Port City Gazette, a new urban legend has been born, and it's the spider that is kidnapping gnomes and calling them off. The gnome was seen flopping on the back of this giant spider climbing across buildings.
This most recent abductee matches the description of Cornelius Schmatteroo.
yes, exactly. Oh,
and so a threat has been averted temporarily.
Exactly. Oh man, so you make it in record speed all the way to the Fighters Guild, and news of this giant spider rushing the Fighters Guild has got all of them up in arms. Arpeggio and Thorun, you hear that a giant spider is looking to engage with the Fighters Guild, and everybody is being called to arms at the front gate.
Oh, God.
What I haven't thought might be Dandy.
Oh yeah, you would know for sure. They say it looks like there's a small goblin or a gnome or something like that mounted on the back of this spider.
I look at Arpeggio and I just down the rest of my drink, and I'm just like, "You want to go do something fun?"
Is there
Why not?
Is there a tall building nearby the Fighters Guild?
Oh yeah, for sure. There's blacksmith stacks clear up in the air, keeping the smoke away from people. There's multi-level warehouses, weapons and stuff are tested and stored. Yeah, there's all sorts of big buildings.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll try and direct Ladybug to top of one of the warehouses. And as soon as we see all these people kind of looking up to us, kind of threateningly, thinking we're about to attack them or something, I'd be like, "Oh God!" Ladybug, back behind the other side, and we crawl back around the other side and unmanacle myself from the restraint, and I'd put on a little mask, climb to the edge of the warehouse roof once more, and just sort of straddling her right up along the edge with my hand in the air and just shout, "It is I, Cornelius Schmatteroo, the most notorious criminal in this city."
You see a small child on the sidewalk below you go, "Mommy, I knew Cornelius was a harlequin! I knew it!" And the mother rushes the child into the nearest building for shelter.
I don't have any money to throw at them, but perhaps I'll definitely won't throw my bomb. Oh man, I don't have anything nice to throw to the people. I'll take out my figurine of wondrous power, the Silver Raven, and I'm going to hold it up above me and say, "This I stole from a prestigious merchant, and I am the greatest villain." And I'll toss it into the crowd and sort of ride off laughing.
Oh my god, okay, so you toss this figurine of wondrous power into the air. Arpeggio and Thorun, you would have come out right when you saw the Cornelius figure step up onto the building and shout that. Would you guys try to recover the item, or what would you guys do seeing that?
I will grab Thorun by the shoulder. Master Smith, you should really pull your punches when you're sparring, because I'm seeing a giant spider with a child on its back throwing something to the ground. What?
That's who we're here for.
Arpeggio,
You're a little bit concerned seeing that child on the spider's back, worrying that the orphanage, that bad influence, that traumatic event may have corrupted some of the children from that orphanage.
That is exactly what I was thinking.
Always remember, Arpeggio, pick your battles. This isn't one we're gonna win. I'll go try and find that figurine that he threw, see if possibly we can recover it.
Yeah, he threw it into the crowd at random. Go ahead and roll me a D100.
18.
It is exactly 18 feet in front of you from where it landed with a tink on the ground. You see that several of the archers within the Fighters Guild all fan out in the front. You see a couple of berserkers in really rusty, nasty armor that, shrieks and clinks together as they go charging off, screaming. You thought you saw a rogue somewhere on the side of the building that slipped into a shadow and disappeared. All seem to be chasing after this Cornelius Smackaroo. Nobody's really paying attention to the raven on the ground.
No. As I'm running, can I begin? I'm going to take out some rope. Can I begin trying to fray the ends into like a makeshift wig for myself and Ladybug?
Go for it. Start fraying some rope to make a wig. Roll me a deception check, and if you have disguise kit, you can add that to it.
I'm afraid not.
No, this is so bad. A 4.
You put the wig on you and Ladybug, the mask and completely forgetting, and you step around the corner with this wig and mask, and they're like, there he is! And they come charging after you. You notice in front of you that there is a elven man and a small child that look and seem to recognize you. And you had given them money before in one of the banks, one of the temples, and you see that they kind of make eye contact with you, and they seem to be pulling along a horse that has a wagon behind him, very large-sized wagon. And they hear the shouting, and the father runs up behind the wagon and pulls open the flap on the backside and kind of points to get in.
I command Ladybug to enter the wagon, and I crouch down, tied against her form, trying to squeeze in.
He immediately drops the flaps on the wagon and tells his son to scream really, really loud. And his son screams, and the Fighters Guild approaches him, and the man says, there was a man on a giant spider. He just recently came by here. He ran up the road. It looked like he scaled that building. Quick, head after him. And they all take off in that direction. He continues to pull the wagon around the corner and just out of sight of everybody, and he opens up the flap, getting you an all clear.
He probably opened it up, and I've got that rope wig like halfway off the side of my head.
Yes, exactly. It's like sideways on there.
I'll just say, wow, look who it is.
He says, I don't know why you gave us money and claimed to be a villain, but if you're a villain, then the world needs more villains like you, sir. And he sticks his hand out for a shake.
I'll shake it, but as I shake it, I'm going to manacle one of his hands to the cart, and then I'm going to ride off with Ladybug. I'm going to ride off going,
he looks down at the manacle and looks up at you. He's like, damn it! And you speed off into the distance.
I'll throw the key at his feet.
The little boy recovers the key and unlocks his father as you dash off, seeing Thorun dragging a very confused Arpeggio behind him, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And nobody seems to... Oh, go ahead.
I think I might just try and let Ladybug... I'll tell her to hide somewhere, like go out into the forest or something to get some food, and then I'll just head back into the city on my own if possible.
Okay, Ladybug skitters out over the tops of buildings, furthering the legend of... Exactly. Skitters out through the Elven district, and the elves won't harm the spider, So Ladybug seeks refuge there in the Elven District as you go about your business.
Perfect.
All right, so Danderbin, you see Arpeggio and Thorun walking toward. What would you do?
Did you guys see that crazy dude on the spider? Man, he was dangerous.
Oh, I'll say.
Yeah, I'd watch out for him. He is quite the criminal.
You don't say.
Anyhow, what I really came here to do, other than, watching that person, is tell you that Klien and Thorun thinks he can find a way to potentially bring Aura back.
Really?
Well, he said so, and he said it may take until the end of time, which is too convincing, but I think it is a start.
Well, let's go see what he knows.
Oh, Arpeggio, good to see you again.
Have you been?
I don't know. My name is Danderbin.
Out of character, we haven't, but because you were the one DMing the group.
Oh, yeah.
The group game, yeah.
Oh, who is your friend?
Oh, Arpeggio, this is Lord Danderbin. Dandy, this is Arpeggio.
Stop it, you. Fine to meet you.
Did you come from the orphanage?
Oh, yes. I just gave a very large donation.
Oh, you're not one of the kids. Oh, I'm sorry.
Thorun just starts laughing.
Bless your heart. I may be spry as a youngster, but I am getting on there in years. Anyways, would you like to come to wherever Klien and Thorun said he was going? I've forgotten already.
Well, it certainly beats yelling at new recruits and patrolling the streets. I mean, this could be fun. This will be fun, right?
Usually is.
Watching our friends study to try and save our friend who disappeared, and it is very traumatic, yes. Very fun. Incredible, even.
In meta terms, I am going to just sit here and start reading from an occult book on portal theory for the next 8 hours.
Anyways, Thorun, you lead the way because I can't remember where he is.
That's helpful, Dandy. Thank you. Would I know that Klien and Thorun would be at like the Mage Tower or the Mage Guild?
Yeah. You would have known that he's in the Mages Guild, and you're guessing that if he's doing work with portals, he's probably near the portal.
Okay. Let's head towards the portal then, see if he might be over there. It might be a start.
Fine suggestion, my lord.
Alright. So you guys start making your way up towards the portal area, and you see all these Fighters Guild members all up in arms, rushing back and forth in search of this elusive Cornelius Schmackaroo. And you eventually get up to the Mages Guild and are able to very easily pick out Klien and Thorun amongst the very few tall individuals there, like Goliaths and whatnot. But there's only one human that tall, and that is Klien and Thorun. He's standing right next to the portal and seems to be giving a gray-robed wizard individual a very hard time with several questions.
Oh, you have no idea. So as they walk up, they'll just hear me. Look, if you guys don't know exactly how these things work, things are going to get really bad. The last thing this world needs is an Eldrazi incursion.
You see the gray-robed individual. Let me roll up a race so I can halfway decent voice here. Oh, this will be kind of fun. So you see that this individual seems to be kind of a strange mix of person and magic items, almost. Kind of like a what you would think of as a cyborg in popular, science fiction-y kind of stuff. They seem to have, one of their eyes seems to be made out of a gem. They seem to have kind of retractable claws, arms. Think Battle Angel, Aelita, or whatever it is. Kind of those kind of mechanical arms, but seem to have retractable claws, kind of a thing with them. So kind of half person, half magic item. And they have a fairly monotone voice. And they say, Once again, as I said, we have no idea what is going on. The mages are looking into it. The planars are looking into it. The plane shifters are looking into it. The plane walkers are looking into it. Everybody is looking into it. We don't know what's going on. And I have no idea what those people are, but I'm sure the Mages Guild can handle any incursion that comes up.
Oh, no, you can't. And I'll turn and walk away.
Okay, this gray robe mage kind of points to an hourglass on the wall, keeping track of what time it is, and points. It kind of does a hand signal, the universal hand signal for getting a drink, and starts heading towards the Temple Guild to what you can only assume is the Ale Father's house. After dealing with that. So then, Klien and Thorun, you see your friends approach. Danderbin obviously leading the way, despite the fact that it's actually Thorun that knows where you're going.
Friends and new friend, introductions to come later. We are headed to the library because the portal mages are completely oblivious.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate.
That's what I thought.
Since you used the word oblivious, and I've been waiting for somebody to say that, Klien and Thorun, go ahead and roll me a perception check.
What?
A 12.
A 12. You hear out of the corner of your eye. You hear, kind of exactly. You hear kind of in the distance.
I hear colors, guys.
Exactly. After spending that much time around Danderbin, it wouldn't surprise me. So you hear kind of off in the distance, almost as if somebody was whispering it in passing. You hear, maybe not oblivious, but oblivion definitely.
Do what now?
Did you cut out, or is that what your character is saying?
That's what I would actually say that like no.
Okay, you look around and there's nobody there. I mean, Danderbin walking up, being extremely loud, and two obvious members of the Fighters Guild walking, kind of separate the mages from your little collection of people. So there's nobody really close to you.
Great, now I'm hearing the whispers of Hermaeus Mora.
All right, so then do you head to the library?
Yes.
All right.
All the while thinking about now just using my massive meta powers. I'm like, I wonder if they know anything about Oblivion gates.
So you head over towards the library area, and you notice that it's pretty self-explanatory. There's a very large book carved in the top board above this very large double door. You open up these double doors, and this is a warehouse-sized building. Several hundred feet long, several hundred feet wide, at least 5 stories tall. If anybody has an inkling, check out Go Sick, the anime. That's what I'm talking about. Giant, massive library full of every kind of book, scroll, parchment, tablet, stone tablet. You can imagine it's here.
So I'm going to walk up to the front desk, pull out a blank sheet of paper, and draw the kind of generally recognized amongst nerds just rough sketch of an Oblivion gate, and ask them, do you have anything related to this?
The individual says, I don't know. Let me grab the voice real quick. And then the voice of the tower apparates out of nowhere and says, hello again, Klien and Thorun. How can I be of service to you?
I'll just hold up a sheet of paper. Do you know anything about this, Hector?
It looks similar. I believe we have a book on demonic portals, but at the moment it is actually, and he closes his eyes real quick. Yeah, it's actually checked out at the moment. This is odd, though. It should have been returned weeks ago. I don't know why it isn't here.
It's probably privileged information, but any chance you can tell me where I might get a hold of the person who checked it out?
That is what I have been running through my head and through the tower, but I don't know who checked it out.
Someone's gonna get their library card suspended.
Someone's gonna get a lot more than that suspended. Weeks is a long time for someone to remember a face. What section of the library would this book normally hang in?
It would have been in the conjuration magic section of the library. It's on a 5th floor back corner. You'll know it because there are several summoning circles inscribed upon the floor just in case apprentices can't wait long enough to get out. But I can give you a rough outline of what I remember from the book, as I have knowledge of all things that have been within this tower.
Hector, you are brilliant. Please. I would love it.
What I remember of the book, though it has been several centuries since I have read it, the Oblivion gates open up in areas of great power. They are not gates that can be opened up anywhere into Oblivion. The sites are extremely significant. They lead to the realms of the demonic princes. These princes are few in number. Nobody is quite sure exactly how many, but 5 are well known. The nearest that we can tell, the only active Oblivion gate that we know of, is within the Kaying Islands, near where the Great Tarrasque was felled. That is the last known active Oblivion gate, though it was shut down more than half a century ago.
I have a sneaking hunch that we may be dealing with something similar, but on a larger scale.
I have sensed similar magic from a young Goliath man that has come in recently. I do worry what could be happening if those gates should reopen.
Oh, you and me both. Although it's better than the Eldrazi.
I will take your word for that. I have no records of what that could be.
You probably wouldn't. Thank you very much for your help. Well, actually, another quick question. What can you tell me about this Goliath?
This Goliath individual has a strange crystal that takes the form of a weapon when called upon. The magic within it is of one of the Daedric princes, but we have yet to identify what type. The abilities of it, though, are of a most heinous nature, as I'm sure you can imagine if you know anything about them.
Yes, another quick question. When he summons this weapon, does it have a specific form or is it different?
As of yet, he has summoned just the sword within the tower, though I do not know what other forms it may take. To get more information, you should talk to him. His name is Kor. I also understand that he offended Mage Shard very heavily, though Mage Shard believes it was not fault of his own, but of his isolated culture that led him to offend him in such a way.
All right. Thank you very much for your help, Mr. Voice of the Tower. You have no idea how useful you have actually been to me.
It makes me very happy to be able to... Now, be on your way. I believe that we have apprentices that will be coming in the next hour, so you will want to grab your books quickly before they raid the shelves.
Crisp salute, and yes, sir, right away, sir. We are on our way, sir.
All right, he discorporates and disappears back into wherever he's going.
I will turn to my friends and say, guys, I've got a lead.
You all standing there would have heard that, but whatever.
like massive smile on my face, terrified look in my eye as I say, we're about to go try to seal some Oblivion gates.
I don't know what that is. Arpeggio and Thorun, do you know anything about what he's talking about?
Would I know anything about an Oblivion Gate from the Fire Isle and anything from...
God damn it. Vergil,
since I'm also with the Dark Bellows.
Yeah, damn you. Rolling a... yeah, I know. Vergil with the Fire Islands. Go ahead and roll me a history check.
Don't worry, Robert. That's only a 5.
You've heard the term Oblivion as kind of the things, but that's about it. Arpeggio, you would have heard stories from some of the mercenaries about, curses and that from some of them from far off lands as something like, you know what they say about traitors. Traitors end up in Oblivion in the end. That kind of a thing. But you wouldn't know probably a whole lot of specifics about Oblivion.
So as we are leaving the library, because since they only had the one book about Oblivion Gates, and pretty much everything that the voice of the tower told me was what I was expecting to read in the book. As we are leaving, I will give them a brief overview of the Daedric Princes, the Realm of Oblivion, and the Land of Tamriel.
and you guys, just to let you know, Danderbin, you're going to have a tough time here because there are no elevators here. It's all stairs, and they're not small stairs, and it's on the 5th floor in the back corner of a giant warehouse. So think of Bennings, I think that's the name of the big department store down there.
Bunnings.
Bunnings, yeah. It's kind of like going into one of those stores, but 5 floors, clear in the back, all stairs. Yeah, it's going to be like that.
So I kind of explained that the Realm of Oblivion is ruled over by the Daedric Princes. They are, for the most part, not nice individuals. They kind of impart themselves into... They kind of live outside of reality, but at the same time are a part of reality, and they carry a lot of power with them, and most of the time they tend to keep to themselves, but every once in a while they get a wild hair up their ass and decide, you know what, let's go eat things. And and so then I'll just kind of explain, give them a little bit of info about like Molag Bal and Hermaeus Mora, and of course my favorite of all the Daedric Princes, Sheogorath. And just, kind of what they tend to do, what their basic, Molag Bal is a horrible bloodthirsty beast that's worshipped by orcs, and Sheogorath is a madman who makes Dandy look sane.
That scares the crap out of you, Danderbin.
And Hermaeus Mora is a tentacled monster that thrives on knowledge. His sole goal is to know everything and use that as power. And those are the 3 that I am most familiar with. Just kind of, and then as we get to the back, there's of course running into books.
All right. As you're searching the shelves, would you give everybody a sign?
I would tell them to look for any books that mention the realm of. Look for any books that have titles that look like they might mention the realm of Oblivion. Anything related to a mystical far off realm that would probably be accessible through a portal network called Tamriel, and the history of a country or a region within it called Cyrodiil.
All right. Would all of you immediately begin looking?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So, everybody has disadvantage on this perception check. Go ahead and everybody give me a perception check with disadvantage.
8.
I rolled an 11 and 11, so 10.
That's an 8.
Arpeggio?
Okay, this is really rare. I rolled a 20. And I rolled a 1.
Oh, no!
Yeah.
Well, then, unfortunately, as Kleinenstern says, look for anything that has to do with Oblivion, and you all turn your backs to start looking, you don't notice the black-robed individual that stands up from what was a summoning circle and clubs Kleinenstern over the back of the head.
Whoa.
Kleinenstern. Oh, thank God. My highest was a 19. He had advantage on that roll. Good thing it wasn't a 20. Kleinenstern, you will take 14 points of bludgeoning damage as you get... I rolled 2 5s on my 2d6. You take 14 points of bludgeoning damage as you get clubbed over the back of the head. Everybody roll me initiative.
I am below bloodied.
Oh God, I rolled so bad. 7.
Not as bad as the Revenant you will be fighting.
Oh God.
All right.
I got 17.
All right. Vergil?
13.
And Arpeggio?
18.
All right. So the Revenant clubbed Kleinenstern over the back of the head, and you all flip around to see what has happened. You can already hear that once that assault had taken place and a little bit of blood struck the floor of the library, all of a sudden, everything seems to change. The atmosphere feels dangerous, like the tower itself has been alerted to this. Go ahead and, Arpeggio, what would you do?
Okay, positioning. I need distances between.
Yeah. You would all be within 10 or 15 each other. You're all kind of a 1 or 2 bookshelves all in the same area. The Revenant is right behind Kleinenstern within, we'll say, 10 feet of you probably.
Okay, I'm gonna get right at his face, and I'm gonna use a shove action.
All right. So then strength contest. You'll probably beat this. That was a 10. Rolled a 6 plus 4.
That's an 18 for me.
So you shove him back, you said?
Yeah, I believe that's 10 feet away.
All right. Do you want to shove him into one of the bookcases? Kind of shove him out away from everybody?
Away from everybody, and more importantly, away from Klien.
All right, yeah, you shove him as hard as you can, and the Revenant kind of stumbles back 10 feet and almost out into the main aisle.
I'm gonna get between the Revenant and the rest of the group, and then I am gonna activate Icon of Might.
All right.
Okay, that is... I rolled a 10, so any attack rolls the Revenant makes is suffers a -1 to the roll.
Awesome, that'll definitely help.
Okay, that's my turn.
All right, we then move on to Klien.
I'll look at the Revenant and be like, buddy, you are entering a world of hurt. And we are going to hold up my Infinity Gauntlet. And we are going to fire off a 2nd level guiding bolt at him. And I'm going to spend 2 sorcery points to channel it through the actual stone on the gauntlet.
Okay.
So that will add one of my D6 effects. Bob, that is a 20 to hit.
Oh, yeah, that definitely hits.
Alright, and so first and foremost, the effect that is imparted as it channels through my gauntlet is, I rolled a 4, so that is the Terra effect. His movement becomes 0 until the start of my next turn.
Nice.
And let's see, he's going to take 5d6 of damage.
All right.
So that's 10, 11... So he's going to take 20 points of radiant damage, and as per normal guiding bolt, all attacks against him have advantage.
All right. He definitely didn't like that. And though most of his voice box is fairly, rotted out, not like full zombie, but really raspy, that cry just cuts straight into all of you as this radiant energy bursts from his skin.
And then I will back up to put a little bit more space between him and me, even though I know he can't move. He hit me pretty hard, and I don't want to risk getting hit again.
Probably a very good idea. Go ahead then, Thorun, what would you like to do?
Call lightning, apparently.
I know. I abbreviated your name as Thor on the whiteboard over here. So,
it's a Revenant, correct?
yes, you would definitely recognize this as a creature.
Okay, so I'm gonna charge at it and run past Arpeggio, and then kind of do an angle where I run out past Arpeggio at one direction and do an upswing towards this creature, and it has advantage, correct?
Yes, you have advantage.
And because of my my sword, I have an improved crit versus undead, and that's a crit hit.
Damn!
Oh, nice.
So, how are we doing crit rolls, Robert?
It's going to be max plus a roll.
Oh shit. Okay. That's not terrible. That is 13 plus 4, so 17 points for the first attack.
You bring your blade down, and as it went to swing wide, you cut into its ribs, and you now just slice cleanly between two of the ribs, and you can see all that rotted everything exposed. Go ahead with your
Alrighty.
second strike.
Second attack. Does it still have advantage or not?
Nope, it's just the next attack roll.
Okay.
Yep.
So this is just a normal roll then.
Yep.
Alrighty. Alrighty, and that's a 17.
Nice, yes, that hits.
Okay. I am going to need a strength saving throw, as I'm going to use a trip attack.
That was a 10. Again.
Alright. So, as I slice, I'm going to slice towards the knee and try and bring him down. And so he failed, so he is now prone. And he also takes... Or no, this would be my unarmed attack. So I would do a roundhouse, a kick to the side of the knee, and try and drop him. So that would be with this 5, 6, 7 points of bludgeoning damage.
All right, a creature that normally doesn't feel pain other than that of the dire type. You kick into the side of its knee and it buckles in, and he falls to the ground with a thud as he attempts to get up, but the leg will not support any weight. We then move on to Danderbin.
Alright. I'm going to run at the creature screaming, "Don't attack my friends!" Ah! And I'm going to try and smack it with my club a couple of times. First one's going to be 20, not natural.
Yep.
So that's good old 6 points of bludgeoning damage. Oh wait, this is advantage because he's prone.
Correct.
Yeah, 20. Okay,
Alright.
and then I'm going to use a key point to do flurry of blows and just jump on his chest twice. First one is another 6 points,
Nice.
and then the second one's a natural 20.
Damn! That's
going to be 11 points of bludgeoning damage.
All right. Yeah, this creature is just getting absolutely pummeled. I mean, there's some crazy vengeance stuff going on. And he dropped with that flurry of blows between all of you, dropped him to exactly bloodied. The Revenant bursts up from the ground. You can see that his body begins to knit back together a little bit, but it stops as that residual glow kind of stays within it, and it does that Dragon Ball Z when a bunch of enemies attack, that rah stands up and swings twice wildly. So he has Arpeggio, Thorun, and Danderbin to choose from, so I'm going to roll a d6 to figure out who the two attacks go to. Alright, so the first one is going to go to Arpeggio, the second one is going to go to poor little Danderbin. So
-1 to the attack roll.
awesome. Alright, so then the first one is Arpeggio, and that is only a 15 to hit.
That's gonna miss.
Alright, and then the second fist goes to Danderbin, and that one, unfortunately, Danderbin is a 19.
Yeah, it's totally.
Just so you know, as a reaction, you can use... as long as you're within 10 feet of me, you can use your reaction to take the dodge action as you get hit. Or you can use your reaction to switch with me, so the attack will hit me instead.
I'll take the dodge action.
Alright,
Okay.
so then let me roll that with disadvantage. That'll still unfortunately hit you, Danderbin, I think, with a 18.
Yeah.
Alright, it was worth a shot. So this massively power fist of the undead smacks you square in the chest. Oh, thank goodness. I was really worried I was going to roll higher than that. So it only does 10 points of bludgeoning damage to you. Alright, we then move on to Arpeggio.
I'm going to use the shove action again, but instead of pushing them away, I'm gonna try to knock them prone.
Alright, go ahead. That is on their strength thing. Oh, I rolled a nat 1.
Do I need to roll?
No, it'll be totally fine. That knee has zero support under it now that Thorun has kicked it out. So you just once again aim your polearm down, sweep the knee out from under him, and he falls to the ground once again with a very hard thud.
I'm gonna, as a bonus action, I'm gonna use Icon of Might again. Okay, that's a natural 20. So that's a negative 2 to attack rolls until the start of my next turn.
Awesome.
And that's my turn.
All right, Klien, we move on to you.
Okay, so he is knocked prone. I'm going to take advantage of this, and we're going to hit him with a flaming sphere.
Oh, shit. Isn't that a radius effect, though?
Oh crap! It is. Never mind. So I'm a little bit like focused in rage mode. No, it's, you know what? That guiding bolt was a lot of fun. I realize, yeah, we'll take the disadvantage on the ranged attack, spell attack roll, and try to hit him with the guiding bolt again.
All right.
But this time only at first level. That is a 15 to hit.
15 definitely hits.
All right, so he will not take quite as much damage, but, you know, we will take full advantage of the advantage that it will give our next attack, and he will take he'll take 12 points of radiant damage, and the next attack has advantage.
All right. He lets out another scream on the ground as this radiant energy just bursts from the cracks in his disgusting skin. Anything else?
No, I think I'm good.
All right. Thorun, it is your turn.
Alrighty, I will make my first weapon attack. Is he armed? Does he have a weapon or anything?
No, he just has 2 fists.
Okay. That's going to hit with over 20.
Yeah.
So that is 9 points of slashing damage.
All right.
And these do count as magical.
Yep.
If that means anything. Okay. And then I'm going to flurry of blows.
All right.
All of them with advantage.
Yeah. That'll hit. And that is 4 points of bludgeoning damage.
All right.
And the second one is a crit. So that's 10 points of bludgeoning damage.
Wow. As you do your flurry of blows, just bringing the hammer down on this guy, you stand up and you do a little bit of a jump in the air, and you bring your foot down straight into the creature's throat, and it lets out a gasp of air as it is completely, that windpipe, though it doesn't need to breathe, is basically closed off, dealing a significant amount of damage to it. All right, we then move on to Danderbin.
Is there a desk nearby?
Why the hell not?
I'm gonna struggle with some of my movement getting on top of one of the desks, and then I'm gonna run off the edge and just do a cannonball onto his chest.
Give him the people's as he's climbing up there. I'm like, from the top rope, give him the people's elbow, Dandy.
Oh my god!
I'm gonna say double top the elbow.
23 to hit.
Yeah, that definitely hits.
Only 4 points of damage.
Oh my god, that is fantastic. It definitely deals a lot more damage than what you were expecting when you brought the elbow down on him. He does make an opportunity attack at you with disadvantage. Yeah, that doesn't hit. Highest was a 14.
Just misses.
Just misses. Okay, yeah, then you're fine. So you bring the elbow down, and it catches him right below the ribs, right where that solar plexus is. And you, despite the fact that his throat was pretty much closed off by that foot he got in it earlier, you hear the oof of air as it escapes his rotted lungs.
Is he wearing any shoes?
Sure.
Okay, can I run to the bottom and take one of his shoes off and just, like, I don't know, try and attack his feet?
You pull one of his shoes off and you smack his foot with the shoe tauntingly.
Perfect, yes. 16 to hit.
Yes, that hits.
5 points of damage.
He's like, oh, that feels like I stubbed my toe. Damn it!
Perfect. I had my turn.
Oh man, I was gonna have trouble with this next. Or I thought I was 100% decided on who his target of vengeance was gonna be when we hit this turn, but now I'm not so sure. I'm gonna roll for it. Odds, Danderbin, evens, Kleinenstern.
Thankfully, Bob, if he attacks me, he's going to have to run through about 3 different opportunity attacks to get to me.
Luckily, he's not attacking you. He looks at you, and you hear, and all of you hear in a very creepy, disgusting, raspy voice, I swear vengeance upon you, mage. And you feel the shiver go up the back of your spine, this chill overtake you. And he stands up and glares at you. I need a wisdom saving throw, Kleinenstern.
No!
Oh, no.
I got a 0.
You are paralyzed until the Revenant deals damage to you or until the end of its next turn. When the paralysis ends, the target is frightened for 1 minute. All right, you can repeat the saving throw at the end of all of your turns. We then move on to, let's see here, Arpeggio.
Did he get up, or is he still knocked out?
He's standing, but basically on one leg because that knee is completely ruined after what you guys have done to it.
Okay, this time I'll make an attack with my standard.
All right.
Okay, I'll take it. Natural 20.
Nice!
Okay, 2 6s. 12 damage total.
All right.
And I believe the standard is magical, so yeah.
Yes, as you go to swipe it across him, you open up his belly and the disgusting rotted smell fills the air and about at the end of its undead life again. It is your turn. Oh, Klein's turn. You are paralyzed. And then we move on to Thor.
Bob, I'm gonna make my saving throw again just because I can.
Actually, no, it's the frightened condition that you paid it for.
Oh, that's right.
The paralyzation you're just stuck with. We then move on to Thorun.
Alrighty, my first attack. That's a 21 to hit.
Yes, that very much hits.
That is 7 points of slashing damage.
It is barely standing, single digits at this point.
Bonus action. Same thing, a 21 to hit.
Yep.
And that is 6 points of bludgeoning damage.
All right. You bring the sword across the creature's throat, and the head is barely hanging on there. You then go ahead and do a spin and punch it, and the head separates from the rest of the body as it rolls to the floor, and the Revenant's body falls with a thud. After about another 15 seconds, you collect yourselves, you slap Kleinenstern awake, Danderbin, I'm sure, just slapping the hell out of him to get him moving. After about another 15 seconds or so, a whole bunch of mages appear, as well as the voice of the tower, that say, What happened here? This shouldn't have happened. Nobody can get in here.
Well, we're not dealing with Meridia, that's for sure. We got attacked by a Revenant.
A Revenant? How could a Revenant have gotten in here? This is a completely secured building.
And more importantly, how did he get a library?
God damn it. Oh, God. They ignore you as they look at Kleinenstern for answers.
I'm not going to say words because words, but we were doing some research and I gave everyone some instruction to look for certain books, and next thing I know, I get cracked on the back of the skull by this thing, and we decided to take matters into our own hands, and well, now it looks like he doesn't have any more hands.
You look down, and for sure, Thorun managed to slice the hands off at some point. So then...
Holding the boot, I'd kind of put it behind my back, like...
What? Seriously? So you're gonna put the head in a backpack?
Oh, no, the boot.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna take the head. No.
That's what I thought you said at first. I'm like, you do realize the Revenants spawn back from their head, correct? All right.
Well, hopefully he doesn't spawn back from his boot. So I'll just take that.
Yeah. So you see that they're very concerned that Revenant attacked, and they said, "Well, did he say anything? Did he talk to you? Have you searched the body yet?"
We just got it. We just dispatched him right as you guys arrived, so we have not had time to search the body. He seemed very mad at me when I hit him with a guiding bolt because he swore unholy vengeance upon me.
The entire group goes very quiet at that point. Says, you're gonna want to be careful. We will contain this Revenant as best we're able to, but once a Revenant swears vengeance upon somebody, it's there. That you can't remove that Revenant's vengeance upon you.
I'll cope.
Wait, for how long?
Until the Revenant is completely destroyed, but that's only something the highest of archmages can accomplish. The only spell known to do that is the wish spell.
Hey, Klien and Stone, did you say that you're going to live and end?
I don't know about the end of time, but I won't be alive for a while.
Well, now you have something to worry about for the rest of your
Yeah, exactly. Yes, that's everything that you. That's everything you needed was an anxiety, for the rest of time. So as
Bob, in the cosmic scale, a Revenant's vengeance against me is a drop in the bucket.
That's very true compared to what you can do if anything else happens.
Yeah.
Arpeggio is gonna do the medieval version of double tap, give him a few more good stabs.
Good idea. All right, you stab it a couple more times. Vergil, are you going to try and collect anything off of this Revenant?
I don't know if I will, just because my sword is already attuned to this type of creature.
Go ahead and real quick give me an investigation check as you look over your sword and while you're cleaning.
Investigation? That is a 15.
You notice that though you're of course wiping the blood off your sword before sheathing it, but some of the blood soaks into your sword. It seems to be shining, polished, like freshly polished new after the blood is soaked in. The edge of the sword, it doesn't even look like you've cut anything. It's so sharp. Very odd to you.
Interesting.
So go ahead and add a tally mark next to the undead slaying ability on your sword for right now. I'll tell you about it later.
Okay.
So then, does anybody else want to investigate the body? Kleinstern, if you investigate it, I have advantage, if you have a reason to.
Considering that he showed up right at the just that opportune moment, I don't know how, considering that he's laying collapsed and, for the most part as dead as he's going to be for a while, I'm going to, do the whole, kids on bikes poke him with a stick and, give him the once over. So yeah, I will take a peek, see. And that is for investigation, that is an 18.
All right. With an 18, as you're looking over this body, you can tell that the clothes and the armor that it had on it are kind of burned, melted a little bit, almost as if, some sort of acid had been attacking this Revenant, but it's all over his body, almost like an acidy mist had enveloped this Revenant at some point. Are you going to search his pockets or do anything like that, or just kind of look on the outside?
If any of the higher ups are nearby to give me, in case this thing decides to take another swing at me, yeah, I'll look at it closer, just because things have been really fishy lately, and I'm in a curious mood, and so meow.
All right, you begin looking through, and you can tell that they've definitely got this on lockdown. You can already hear the voice of the tower, almost this echoing ring in your ears, as these magical words begin chanting throughout it, and this dome starts to form over the library where the battle took place, restoring it and locking down the Revenant's various parts that have spilled. Within the leather armor, you find a single page, we'll call it. It looks like leather of some sort, and you can't read the writing on it as you pull this kind of folded leather page out.
Even though I can't read it, do I have an idea as to what language it might be to get some help in translating?
You believe it is something like proto-language. This is symbols and scratchings and the oldest of languages. You've seen scratches very similar to this on the Oblivion gates, from what you remember.
I might pocket this page.
All right, you go ahead and roll me a sleight of hand check just to be safe.
Oh, Dex, don't fail me now. That is a 14.
14? All right. And the mages that are casting spells will have disadvantage. Yep, highest they had was... What's that?
Doesn't that work against passive perception?
Oh, yeah, it does. I'm not going to look up mage stats. I'm going to say that it's a generic +1, so that's probably a 12 perception. And the voice of the tower would know all things that happens within the tower, but since they are currently channeling a spell, I'm going to say that they don't notice it. So you are very easily able to slip this leather page thing into your pocket.
Based on just the whole what the script on it looks like and what if I'm like as we're getting ready to leave, I'll just be like, hey Dandy, you ever read words off of skin before?
I mean, I have known a few people that have tattoos, so yes.
And then I'll show him the page that is basically just the script written on the flayed skin of the once living.
Yeah, it is 100% flayed skin of a page, and what makes it even more disturbing, it appears that there were binding, like the sewing marks of thread that had been, on the one end of this page, almost as if it had been skin within a book.
Like, we are looking for a flesh book.
Oh.
Go ahead and roll me a history check or knowledge check of some variety class. See if you know which what the significance of this would be.
Bob, if it's the Necronomicon, we're gonna have issues.
Braden's gonna have issues with me too.
That is a 14.
A 14. You're pretty sure that one of the Daedric princes had a flesh book of some variety. The Augum...
The Augma Infinium.
Yes, exactly. In meta terms, you're like, Augum something. I'm going to have to rack my brain for it. I'm not 100% sure, but yes, that's exactly what it is. You'll be able to get it after some study.
Okay, and I'm like, oh, no. I don't like Hermaeus Mora, Bob. Why else would the library and the mage that seeks knowledge attract the attention of the Daedric Prince of Knowledge?
Exactly. After getting the all clear from the voice of the tower, you guys are easily able to make your way out of the library and out into the street. So what would you like to do from here?
Get a stiff drink.
I second that.
Yeah, heading to the nearest bar.
And as we're walking, I'll be like, all right, do you guys have any questions? Because I feel like an explanation is in order, but I don't know where to start. So I feel like you guys, the things that you might want to know, I will attempt to answer as best as I can.
Well, I mean, what just happened is a good start.
What just happened is, I have a very strong, sneaking hunch that one of the more potent Daedric princes has taken a very strong interest in this world. He has a book that is basically made of skin, full of the most mind-rending knowledge that one could ever possibly learn. For someone who is very keen on learning everything there is to learn, his book is a brilliant well of information, but at the same time it comes at a cost. If this page is what I think it is, someone has paid that cost, and are doing terrible, terrible things with the help of a horrible amorphous tentacle monster.
Wait. What?
Which what?
A tentacle monster. And also, you have one of those skin pages that is... What? You have mind-rending knowledge on you right now.
A sliver of it.
Arpeggio or Lord Thorun, do you understand that language? But I warn you, if you read it, your mind may be rendered inept. Is that a word I use? I don't know.
I usually do not touch weird, so I will pass upon reading that.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't be able to read it anyway.
I have a vague idea of what the language might be, but short of pulling out my my old Elder Scrolls Oblivion strategy guide, I'm not going to be able to translate it.
You mean they make prima guides in this world?
Wait, they said something about... you said something about... wait, no, that big weird tower man said something about a Goliath that had the magic. Perhaps he is the one who had the thing and is doing the thing.
That is another angle that we're going to take. And if it's a Goliath that uses magic, I'm going to need some backup when I go to question him.
Wait, and how does all of this run back with Aura? Is she being eaten alive slowly by this giant tentacle monster?
The tentacle monster itself wouldn't be eating her alive. If the tentacle monster was... Hermaeus Mora is a very unique prince amongst the Daedra. If he does anything, it's in search of more knowledge. I would venture a guess, if it was someone along the lines of Molag Bal, I would say that she's in a lot more danger. But with it being Mora, she's probably not enjoying herself right now, but I don't think she is in danger of losing her life in the immediate future.
As you explain that to your friends, I just drew from the Turok deck to see who you would encounter. A individual in black robes with the cowl pulled low comes up behind you and says, but she and none of the others are dead yet. I can tell.
See? Even he knows. Pardon me, sir?
I can feel the deaths of those around us, but I have yet to feel a death of those who have disappeared. We do not advertise this fact, as death makes several people squeamish as to their own mortality, but I can sense that you have an item of our persuasion on your person, and as such, I would be happy to offer you a trade knowledge for that particular piece of parchment, we'll call it.
I was just looking at him. Let's not beat around the bush. We both know that that's not paper.
You are right, but since we are in this establishment, and he kind of looks around at the other patrons, I don't think that they would appreciate me saying out loud, actually is, given that they barely tolerate my presence here. And you get the sickly, sweet scent of rot and death about this person.
Tic-tac?
I'm hiding behind Arpeggio.
So you want this fine, we'll be all diplomatic. You want this page of the book.
Correct, since it is of the no longer living, I will be able to pull the secrets from it without reading it. It is of great value to me, and I know a little bit about what might be happening to your friends.
What does the page do? What are you gonna learn?
I won't know until I take it, but I guarantee if it's a page from what I think it is, and he gives he gives you a bit of a sly look, says, if it's a page from the book that I think it is, there is nothing that I wouldn't be able to learn if I got my hands on enough of them.
And I'll be like, and that's the rub.
The gumshoe Tracy Fisher is manifesting for us.
That's the rub, she. You want... You, sir, are a very creepy-looking bastard.
Anyone else getting real bad vibes from this dude, or is it just me?
Oh, no, it's not just you. But look, believe me, there is a part of me that will love to know all of the secrets of the individual who most likely is responsible for writing this book. At the same time, that terrifies. I'm not really concerned with the actual information that's on the page. I'm hoping that I can use this page to track down the other pages to find a way to rescue certain individuals.
Oh, but they are not the ones responsible, despite what it may look like.
Oh, see, now you're playing this game.
To sweeten the deal, I will give you a little hint as to the knowledge that I have learned. From my best estimations, they are not dying in the sense of leaving a corpse, though they are no longer a part of this world.
I kind of gathered that much by the simple notion that none of the guilds that they're affiliated with can track.
But you know that they are still alive.
Is that all you know?
I know more, but once secrets are let go of, they cannot be taken back. Thus, payment is due before I convey the rest of my knowledge to you.
Let me...
I don't know if you've seen or not, but Arpeggio is a real badass. She could beat you up right now and take your knowledge.
Dandy.
Really badass.
Let me confer with my friends momentarily. This deal, it doesn't affect just me. I mean, there are a lot of other people who have a stake in this.
I shall wait for you in the graveyard within Commons, as that is where I'm a little bit more comfortable, as stereotypical as it is to say. This deal will only be good until sunrise. The second the sun rises, I shall disappear, and you will not learn of this information, but by your own strife and effort, which could take years or longer.
Joke's on you. Cloudstone lives forever.
No, Dandy. I won't live forever. But no one who's old. Very few people who are alive right now will be here for them.
And in very creepy fashion, he looks at you and backs out of the bar, walking backwards completely, knowing that everybody's going to get out of his way because, one, he stinks, and two, he's a crazy necromantic bastard.
Is he walking out of the room while still facing us, like walking backwards?
Yeah, 100% creepy, facing you the entire...
I call out to him. You know, that looks creepy, you know? You know that?
I know, and thank you.
As he disappears around the corner.
Seems like a nice dude. I think we can trust him.
Nat 1 on insight.
So, here's where we have to make a decision, friends. Are we going to accept the aid of creepy Dead Razor?
I mean, did you see him? He was just flesh and bone. We could all beat him up real easy. Lord Thorun is really strong. And so is Arpeggio. I think them two could just beat him up, and then we'll take all his knowledge, and we won't have to study for years.
Good to know the chaotic neutral one in the group.
Knowledge is power. And I got a sneaking hunch that if he didn't feel that he had a really good chance of keeping everything that he wants to keep locked up, he wouldn't have even approached us.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, I just don't really want someone that creepy having access to a flesh page where he might learn something completely evil and then hurt more people. Is it really going to be doing any good if we learn a little bit for him to learn a lot and do bad?
And that's why I didn't accept his deal outright, because effort on our part may end up saving more than just our friends. Knowing that they are alive for the moment is enough for me to down all the coffee in the world to never sleep again if I have to.
Do you have any other leads that you can go with?
Is it tracking down this this Goliath fellow? I believe his name was Kor. I've been told that he is an individual of some knowledge based on what we may be able to find. And considering it was the voice of the tower that pointed me in his general direction, I'm much more inclined to talk to him about it than creepy Necromancer who walks up behind us in the bar. So yeah, I feel that we can let Necromancer disappear, and we'll focus on our efforts on the potentially less creepy but significantly more formidable individual.
Well, why don't we not immediately burn this bridge behind us, but we can follow through. Go ahead.
I was going to say, what time is it, Bob?
Almost supper time, but not quite.
Okay, so first things first, since it's getting near on supper, guys, have any of you tried out the new restaurant in the Noble Town?
God, do they sell that famous pig guts and gravy that you're always on about?
There is a distinct chance that may actually be on the menu. I think it's going to tap me out, but I definitely want to go. Apparently, the head chef is a grung.
A what?
A grung.
You would all have fairly decent knowledge to know that grungs are typically very poisonous if they come into contact with anything that you ingest or touch in general. It's like rather than having the pufferfish is the chef making your food.
Well, I'll never go and pass up a chance to die, so sure, let's go.
So as over supper, I think we will discuss, considering that he gave us until sunrise, that means he is in a massive hurry to get this information. There's a reason he wants it quickly. Otherwise,
Something
he would.
Important.
Indeed, and I feel like the more urgency something like that wants this information, the more urgency we need to have in figuring out what's going on. But I don't think giving him that information to figure it out is the best way of doing it.
Who's to say he won't just try and come and get it himself after? And then Arpeggio and Lord Thorun can beat him up.
That is option. We'll put that. We will stick a pin in that. And
Master strategist, Danderbin.
That worries me a little bit. But then again, bear traps on butts is pretty much a way to cripple any army.
I mean, you're not wrong, Bob. I mean, have you ever tried to walk with a bear trap on your butt?
No comment.
Thorun, you've been pretty quiet. You got any input?
No, I got a kitty cat on my lap that I'm petting right now.
Nah, I threw her out of the room. I tried to grab my pencil and she bit me.
No pencil.
And then all my dice would just be way too big of a distraction. I don't know. I don't want to give him that page. I'm sure we can find someone else that can use that information better than he would, I think.
I get the feeling that is it's kind of the general consensus that giving this man the information he wants is not a good idea, even if it gives us the information. So even though it may take us a little bit longer, I think I am okay with passing up this very tempting offer.
I still stand by on not just keeping his offer on the side, just in case we get desperate.
I think, considering that, keeping that option on the table, or just the option of keeping that option on the table means that it's going to be a long night for us trying to find a Goliath. Because even though, it's like trying to find a needle in the haystack. The needle may be, the size of a pen, but you're still looking for a needle in a haystack. So, if we want to potentially maintain utilization of the Necromancer, then we're going to have to rule out core as an option first, which means we have to find him probably well before sunrise.
I agree.
All right, then we will go ahead and end here on the night of the 26th of planting. So thank you guys very, very much for joining me for this. This was a ton of fun. I'm glad we were able to do this political intrigue, this puzzle, and all of this kind of stuff. So I am really excited to see what happens. And as soon as we're able to get core on, I will let everybody know, and we can go from there.
I'm super excited.
Wait, what about the pigs? What about the pig's gut?
We'll pick up in the Hamich's sandwiches, and hopefully none of you will die too badly.
Too badly. Yeah.
I mean, if you hallucinate first, then it isn't as bad as foaming from and falling to the ground.
Yeah.
Just don't ask for the sugar syrup.
No. Hammett is very careful, but accidents can happen.
All right. Thank you guys very, very much. So go ahead and everybody say goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of The Chaos Plan. If you would like to know more, visit our website at theadventuringguild.com. You can also, while you're there, find all of our rules, downloads, and episode guides in case you're lost on what is going on. And if you would like to support the podcast, visit our Patreon page where you can join the show and become a sponsor of the guild. So thank you guys very, very much. And also check out the first episode of the month, which would have been the last Chaos Plan episode. On that episode, we did do our very first ever giveaway. So if you haven't checked that out yet, please check that out and email your answer to the question found there to dmbob@theadventuringguild.com. One lucky winner will be chosen on the first episode in November to get the Descent into Avernus book that just recently released. So thank you all very, very much, and we hope to catch you next time.